Dave is skeptical. The allegations that there were racist slurs directed towards Angel Reese, the WNBA players, whining and moaning. What about us? This is fucking Mean Girls. Is this a female issue? It is not something that we really even think about in terms of the NBA, but with the WNBA, the race narrative has just taken over.
And now, a man who's hailed as our greatest American hero, Ricky Cobb.
Oh yeah, and welcome, you sweet bastards. It's a Tuesday morning in Chicago. I'm Ricky Cobb, and this is the Ricky Cobb Show. We got a lot of good stuff for you today. Super 70s sports tweets sprinkled throughout. But let's begin with the foul heard round the world. It happened Saturday afternoon in Indianapolis, Indiana, and unless you've been living under a rock, you're aware that I'm talking about Caitlin Clark's so-called flagrant foul on Angel Reese that made Angel Reese hop up and want some smoke. And many of us have looked at that foul, and I think most have concluded it wasn't actually a flagrant foul. It occurred after Angel Reese had committed a foul herself that went uncalled against an Indiana Fever player in the paint. Caitlin Clark comes over, grabs Angel Reese, prevents her from getting an easy layup, sending her to the line to shoot two. It should have been simple, but nothing in the saga of the WNBA when it pertains to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has been simple since before they entered the league. Dave Portnoy was in the building when this happened, the dust-up that occurred. Dave doing the things that billionaires do, I suppose, putting $25,000 on Caitlin Clark to get a triple-double and hitting that. A good day for Dave Portnoy. But Dave in the building and with some thoughts on the story that has taken hold over the past couple of days, the allegations that there were racist slurs directed towards Angel Reese during the game. The Indiana Fever announcing that they will investigate this, and Dave talking about it here, tweeting, the WNBA can't get out of its own way. To issue a statement in response to trolls is a joke. It makes Indiana Fever fans look bad for no reason. It's like they won't be happy until they kill the golden goose. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize and eat my words, but I'm 100% right. To this point, there is no substantiation of these allegations. We don't know even for sure where the allegations originated. It doesn't seem that they originated with the Chicago Sky. May have originated online with posts that Dave Portnoy is attributing to trolls. But it has become sort of the main story here at this point. Caitlin Clark issuing a statement about it that she's in favor of it. Her teammates issuing statements that they're in favor of the investigation, and all of the things that one would say in this matter. Hate is bad, of course. There's no room in the sport for that. There's no room in our society for that. All of the things that people say to cover their own ass, just in case it comes out that this is true. But at this point in time, Dave's not buying it. He followed up on his tweet with these words, this video that he posted. Let's take a listen to Dave Portnoy going further on what he thinks is a bogus issue.
I would be stunned beyond belief if that was the case. This crowd, I've sat on the wood for a million games, been in a million environments. The crowd at the Fever game, little girls, families, ladies, nice crowd. Was it loud? Were we mad when Angel Reese attacked Caitlin Clark for no reason? Yeah. Did we boo her? Yeah. Is it sports? Yeah. But for the WNBA to issue a statement based on trolls, like my life is the internet, I know trolls. I've seen people lie about me, say shit about me. Nobody knows trolls made up shit better than me. For the WNBA and now the Indiana Fever to issue statements we're investigating, Unless something so preposterous happened that nobody in the stadium saw, there's not an ounce of proof, there's not a video of it, there's not camera phone of it.
All right, Dave is skeptical. I love the fact that he's there wearing an Indiana Fever jersey, just looking like some fucking guy who's unemployed. Got more money than God. Keep doing you, Dave. Look, I'll make the standard caveat that any sensible person would make. If it comes out that there's validity to this, of course, there's no room for it in the game. There's no room for it in our culture. There's no room for it, period. Whoever did that should be banned from going to Indiana Fever games if it turns out that there's credibility to it. In the meantime, it seems like it's an unfortunate thing to have leading days after your extremely hyped season lid lifter between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark puts up a triple-double. The fans get what they want. You should be out of the gate strong with the 2025 WNBA season. Instead, you're doing PR work on an issue that may not even be an issue. And it's certainly not the thing that the WNBA would want to be the headline story coming out of the season opener. This is where we're at, unfortunately, with the WNBA. And I don't know how they stop this inertia and pivot in another direction. When was the last time that you heard serious allegations about racist stuff being yelled at an NBA game, etc.? I'm not saying that isolated incidents don't happen, because you get 20,000 people in a building, I'm sure that there's going to be a handful of them that are absolute fucking morons. But it is not something that we really even think about in terms of the NBA. But with the WNBA, the race narrative has just taken over. And it's taken on a life of its own, to the point that even rumors that something untoward may have happened in Indiana becomes a top story. Maybe the solution, some people have, maybe banning Dave Portnoy is the solution. Did you know that there were some people online that were suggesting that Dave was responsible for yelling unsavory things, which of course is ridiculous. But there's a petition now to ban Dave Portnoy from WNBA games, and it's got over 1,000 signatures, if I'm not mistaken. Can you imagine? We know that there's at least 1,000 people in the world who have nothing better to do than that. We'll see if Dave's in Indy again tonight. The Fever playing their second game of the season, also a home game, taking on the Atlanta Dream at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We shall see. Somehow I have a feeling that there won't be as much drama without Angel Reese on the court. Maybe we'll be talking tomorrow about Caitlin Clark's performance and not the circus. Is that too much to ask? Take a look at this. The Fever finally figuring out how to give their star top billing. They struggled with this, left her off of the playoff promo last year. For the season opener, she was one of the other people in the photo. And there we go. 1 million Facebook followers. How about that? The Indiana Fever becoming the first WNBA team to hit 1 million followers on any social media platform. And LeBron James is into it. Caitlin Clark is on a different level of celebrity. I heard somebody say that A'ja Wilson is the face of the league a few days ago. No, she ain't. You know what A'ja Wilson looks like? Could you identify A'ja Wilson? You think the average American could? Caitlin Clark is everything in this league. And LeBron posting on Instagram on Saturday this photo. Look at that. Saying good luck and do you per usual this season. Tagging Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin was left a little bit speechless, perhaps, by this. Let's take a listen to what Caitlin had to say about meeting LeBron James and then finding out that LeBron had posted the photo from their meeting back in March on his Instagram.
Well, like, I don't really get too starstruck from people, and that was like a moment that I was like I knew I was going to meet him when I was coming to the game, and that's like one of my idols. Like, LeBron is the GOAT to me, so I don't know, it was just like a crazy moment where I got to meet him in the back, and then for him to go out of his way and like wish me luck on the season. And he really does follow the WNBA, and he watches and he loves and appreciates basketball, and he loves and appreciates the way the Fever and my teammates play. And I mean, it's just really cool. I saw that. I didn't see it before the game, but obviously a lot of people had sent it to me after the game. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought it was kind of fake at first, but he's my favorite player of all time. I mean, you never know in today's world, I guess. I didn't know. I was like, wait, is this actually LeBron James? I knew the picture was real because I knew that was me, but yeah, it was pretty incredible. Like, I mean, I don't get too starstruck, but he's one of those people that I did.
First of all, I just really like her. Her popularity is certainly enhanced by her personality. When she's just being herself, you can tell that she's a down-to-earth young woman who is just enjoying this journey that she's on, and she's hard to root against. Well, I say she's hard to root against. There are people out there who apparently don't have any trouble rooting against her, but for many of us, she's just on her face. She's just someone who is very likable. Now, nobody's perfect. She said LeBron is the GOAT. Caitlin, you know, what is she, 22? She just doesn't know better. She didn't watch Michael play. Caitlin. LeBron is not the GOAT. He's not even close to the GOAT. But you know, he's obviously jazzing you up. So, you know, after the game, LeBron showing her some love as well, giving her congratulations on the triple-double that she posted, the one that put a little money in Dave Portnoy's pocket. Do we have the tweet where he congratulated her on the triple-dub, guys, or do we not? Perhaps we take my fucking word for it.
Yeah, he just congratulated her, Rick, and he got some heat for it, too. He got some heat.
Who's giving him heat for such a kind gesture?
Caitlin haters. Why doesn't he do it for other players? You know, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she, by the way, she's already
jealousy.
Right.
This is fucking Mean Girls. Is this a female issue? Is this a female issue where like women just get nasty with each other when they're in a competitive situation? I don't want to stereotype the fairer sex here, but what is going on with the fucking jealousy of this woman? I can't recall anybody entering any other professional sport in my lifetime who has been met by so many fucking salty haters. Not in the NBA, not in the NFL, not in Major League Baseball, not in hockey, not anywhere. Can you give me an example of somebody who is just so fucking good, who comes out and is obviously great for everyone in the league? Michael Jordan was the guy who did that for the NBA. Yeah, Larry and Magic laid the groundwork. The NBA was fucking suffering in the 1970s. They were showing the NBA Finals on tape delay after your local news. I remember watching the Supersonics and the Bullets in the 1979 NBA Finals. That's the first one that I remember. And it was on after the local news at 10:30 Central Time, fucking taped, because people didn't give enough of a shit about the NBA that they cared to watch it live. That is the space that the NBA occupied in American sports culture in 1979. Larry and Magic came into the league for the 79-80 season, and we were off to the fucking races, and it was accelerated tremendously when Michael Jordan came out of North Carolina in 1984. I don't remember anybody hating on Michael Jordan to even a tiny fractional degree of what Caitlin Clark is getting. And it's the players that are primarily driving it. The WNBA players. Whining and moaning. What about us? What about us? We're special too. No, you're not that fucking special. Because if you were, the WNBA wouldn't have been on fucking life support for the last 30 years with more tubes and shit stuck in it than somebody that's been in a fucking coma for the last decade. And she comes into the league breathing some fucking life into this, performing a Jesus Christ level miracle to make the WNBA relevant for the first time ever, really, in mainstream American pop culture. And all the league has done, all the players have done, and some of the owners for that matter. The Washington Mystics owner who made the idiotic statement of, why can't everybody be the athlete of the year? Why can't we all join in this and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and whoever it is that's the last person off of the bench for the fucking Seattle Storm or whatever needs to be on the cover of Time magazine? Idiots. Willful idiots across the board, and jealousy drives most of it. Well, guess what? She's not getting worse. You can already see the muscles. Just the fact that she got that foul on Angel Reese and put her down on the ground. We saw Caitlin getting pushed around a lot last year. She was getting shoved around. That was the weakness. And apparently she just lived in the gym during the offseason. Angel Reese is out there playing in the Unrivaled League. A lot of the other top players are in the Unrivaled League. Angel Reese is putting time into her podcasting, putting time into her attempts to be a social influencer. And I'm not knocking you for it, but she had somebody, who was it, Lisa Leslie, on her podcast says, we got to work on your layups. How about you stop hosting so many podcasts and go work on your fucking layups? Because I didn't hear very much out of Caitlin Clark during the offseason because she was at work, because she understands her job is to lead the Indiana Fever to WNBA championships, and she's committed to that fully. Not distractions, not what kind of clothes she's wearing when she comes prancing up before the game. She's a throwback, and she wants to beat you. It's like Tom Brady drinking kale shakes in fucking March because he's getting ready for the season in 6 months because he's a fucking maniac who only wants to win. Caitlin Clark has that DNA. So guess what? The haters, it's not going to get easier because she's only getting better. You got a taste of it in the opener with the triple-double. She's going to be the MVP of the league this year. I've already called it, and I'm going to double down on it.
Now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story.
Right.
The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on.
All right, there you have Ryan Clark commenting on Robert Griffin III's remarks that after watching Saturday's game and watching the incident between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese transpire, that RG3's take is that Caitlin Clark is hated by Angel Reese. That it goes beyond normal rivalry, that Angel Reese just despises Caitlin Clark. Ryan Clark calling out RG3 for this and going on to say that because RG3 is married to a white woman, he doesn't understand, doesn't have conversations about what it means to be a Black woman and what Black women deal with. Is that where we're at now? Is this an ESPN thing? Because Ryan Clark, every time we talk about ESPN and identity politics, Ryan Clark, he may as well be the poster boy for all of it, because he seems to weave race into so many different stories where it's not necessary. You've got RG3 commenting on what happened on the court between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and then commenting upon what he believes he's seen from Angel Reese throughout their rivalry dating back to their college days, saying she hates Caitlin Clark. Now, I don't know if Angel Reese has hate in her heart for Caitlin Clark or not, but I think it's a reasonable take considering the way that Angel Reese has acted. What their races have to do with it, I'm not sure. And what RG3's wife's race has to do with anything is really stretching it for me. Robert Griffin III probably knows a few things about black women, I would guess. His mom is a black woman. He's got sisters, I believe. I'm sure he has family members as a black man who are black women, but you got to bring his wife into it. RG3, as you would expect, took exception to this, strong exception to it, and he wasted little time firing back at Ryan Clark.
Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits. Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are.
All right, measured words from RG3. I think fair words from RG3 responding to this from Ryan Clark. But of course, did you think that Ryan Clark would just let it die there? Of course not. Ryan Clark is going to have to clap back and clap back hard at RG3, saying, I didn't attack your wife. I spoke on what you do on social media and TV. Like I said, I met your wife and she seemed like a lovely lady that was worth more than the color of her skin. You be good, bruh. This coming after Ryan Clark basically told RG3 that he carried him when they worked together at ESPN and that he was a bad teammate. So, Tim, Ryan Clark coming back and, if anything, doubling down on his criticisms of RG3. I think he has made it personal. I think RG3 is correct to be offended by it. What do you make of this one?
It's exceptional to me, the double standard that Ryan Clark being able to say that about someone's wife, but also, she doesn't count because of her race. Like, imagine if he said that and the roles were reversed. You would like to think he would be spoken to, disciplined, or what have you. I make light of it with the Dr. J and Larry behind me here because we have had numerous examples where it is just, real competitive juices flowing, and it didn't instantly turn into a racial thing, and I think you said it best that Ryan is the first to point that out, to make it about race, to bait it about race. I'm just surprised, though, that there hasn't been more of a, keep in mind, by the way, these guys were doing shows together up until a couple of months ago. The ESPN on ESPN crime is not a great look. But, you'd like to think that someone's asking questions. Hey, is Ryan really allowed to say that? Just to discount someone's opinion because he's married to a white woman. It's outrageous. It really is.
It's so stupid on multiple levels. One, you've gone and you're going after the race of the woman because it feels like it's a veiled shot at RG3 for not being married to a black woman. I
Absolutely.
don't know how RG3 took it. But that's what I kind of hear between the lines in this. So you're taking a shot at him and you're saying because you're married to a white woman, you can't comment on the experience of a black woman. First of all, what does the experience of black females in America have to do with a basketball play during a basketball game? We saw
Think
what
about
happened.
that.
Angel Reese shoved a player out of the way, didn't get called for it. I don't know how she didn't get called for it. We can't show you the film on the show, but go to X or someplace where the video's posted and look at it. Angel Reese very clearly commits a foul right before that happens. Caitlin Clark points to the referee, gestures to the referee, like, why didn't you call that? Did you see that? Are you fucking blind? I'm not saying Caitlin Clark said those words, but you can see her reaction. She can't believe that a foul wasn't called, and when Angel Reese has the rebound, Caitlin Clark just reaches over, puts her hands around her, just prevents her from executing the layup. Angel Reese goes down to the ground and then pops up ready to fight. Okay? What does any of that have to do with anybody's race? You have to understand, like, somebody's experiences since birth and what they've lived through to be able to broadcast a basketball game or to issue your commentary later on what happened in a basketball game. Tim, help me here. What sense does that make?
As
I don't see it at all.
It doesn't, but as a sociologist that there's the double, that black women have the double whammy and they're discriminated against twice. So therefore, hey, you don't understand, bro, Ryan to RG3, and then to just jump on the bandwagon of Keith Olbermann and all this other stuff. It really is. It's sort of embarrassing for the profession. And it's not the first time. Sage Steele had to dodge a lot of these things. She's married to a white guy you don't understand. It's the definition of a microaggression that you're targeting people because of who or what they are. You said it best, man. Basketball play, hard basketball foul. If I can give Angel any credit here in the end, her and Caitlin at the end of it all dismissed it. Hey, listen, hard basketball play. You guys are making more of it than it needs to be. Let's move on. Look, that's the game. That's the cycle. Ryan Clark, by the way, shouldn't be lost in the audience. Going out on his own, taking a page from Stephen A., doing his own thing. Did not say it on an ESPN program. Said it on his own little podcast. And I think that's the age we live in. It's just unfortunate. Look, I hope, to your point, I hope it's an uneventful game tonight. I hope Caitlin continues with what she's doing. Cunningham is a good addition to the Fever tonight as well, a white woman as well. So I just hope the narrative changes at some point and we just talk about basketball. I mean, you tell me, Ricky, do you remember any of the Dr. J? Certainly Magic and Bird, there were never any of this outward white versus black discussions. Granted, we didn't have media the way we do today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different era. I mean, that issue was probably always there. If you watch the whatever the HBO series was a couple of years ago, the one with John C. Reilly and whatever, Winning Time, is that what it was called?
Yep. Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Showtime.
There was some suggestions of that. Yeah, one of those two. Dr. J and Larry Bird, the interesting thing about that photo behind you is those guys have so much respect for each other that they have made an agreement that neither one of them will autograph that picture, by the way. So you won't find a signed version of that photo anywhere because those dudes, they don't want to amplify the fact that happened, but they were competitors. Shit happens, okay? And, to start in ESPN somewhere along the way believed that it became their role to bring into it all of this extraneous cultural, socio-political, race. I mean, you name it all. It's become such a part of the ESPN ecosystem.
It's encouraged.
Anything that happens in a sporting event, they go looking for that stuff to dredge it up, to try to figure out how that can explain it. And sometimes it's just as simple as in competition, things get heated. It was a basketball play. Angel Reese took exception to it. She got angry. Caitlin Clark brushed it off. After the game, they both downplayed it. Move on to the next game on the schedule. It should be as simple as that, but this is the stuff that drives ESPN. ESPN wants these stories so that they can produce content from it. And as long as that's their attitude, they'll be magnifying and looking for this stuff everywhere. And even if, Ryan Clark said it on his own podcast, as you said, Tim, he's still representing ESPN. And I'm sure
100%.
He's smart enough to know that in whatever capacity you see his content, he is representing the ESPN brand with what he says. So I'm going to stand with RG3. Tim, at UNC, we've had nothing but soap opera drama pretty much since the get-go with Bill Belichick. I was on Jimmy Fallon, a week ago or whenever it was, a little over a week ago, cracking jokes about Bill Belichick's young girlfriend. It's become something that has become bigger than college sports, really. People that don't even give a shit about college football have an opinion on Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. But One thing that is going well at North Carolina is season ticket sales. They have sold out their allotment of season tickets, Tim. 20,000 season tickets. Didn't get it done last year. They're already sold out this year and at a 25% price increase as well. So it's even more impressive because they're asking the Tar Heel faithful to dig a little deeper into their wallets, and they are. They're willing to do it. They've got more primetime games this year. They're looking to have a bigger revenue share this season. Maybe UNC is going to get their value from Bill Belichick after all. I just don't know how the Jordan Hudson story goes away. It probably goes away if UNC gets off to a good start, wins 2 or 3 games. If they open 3-0 or whatever, maybe that is the best.
They have TCU. They have TCU week 1. I don't know, man. TCU week 1 is not an easy one. I was surprised they only have 20,000. Their allotment is only 20,000 for season tickets. I guess that's outside of student and game day. And I have been to a game there. I was also at a game at Duke. Better facility, obviously, at UNC. But yeah, surprising. But imagine 25% more. Listen, it's all about wins, man. I don't think he's, to your point, if he gets past, I still have it as week 3, the over-under, that they're breaking up or not. But don't forget, man, June 1st, still 11 days out. That big buyout sort of walk-away clause is still looming for Belichick. I don't think it's going to happen, certainly for the sake of Bill and friend of the show, Michael Lombardi, and everybody else. But, that June 1st thing is a real part of his contract.
I feel bad talking about it as much as we do sometimes because Mike Lombardi is such a great guy, the GM of the program down there. I know he's doing a fine job, and I certainly wish him the best. I'm rooting for North Carolina. I'm rooting for Bill. I like Bill Belichick, and I'm pulling for UNC. I would like to see him bring UNC into some kind of relevance because I think a college football world where Bill Belichick is in the mix, flirting with making it to the playoff, is just a more compelling version of college football. I'm all in on it. I hope that Bill, reminds everybody that he still has a fastball because I think it would be great for football if UNC actually can become something of a power.
Yeah, especially in that conference, right? If you can knock off Clemson now, suddenly you're sort of could be in the driver's seat, especially for that athletic program. It's beyond just Jordan, what they have going on there, at Chapel Hill. I'm with you, man. I am not hating on Bill. I'm not hoping he sneaks one past the goalie as Ronnie is. Has the game passed him by, I would say, is the one question that you're going to learn pretty quickly. All of his, do your job, do your job, do your job. All of his mentality from the Patriots, show up, do your job, no phones. If you're 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late, all that crap. I'm not sure a 21, or 19-year-old kid is going to vibe with that. So let's see if he's ready for college. I think that's the big thing. By the way, Lombardi did get a shout out from Bill in that interview with Michael Strahan last week. So I'm rooting for him for a bunch of reasons, including that. Listen, man, look, you have arrived in many which ways. I think you like to tell your history that, the Jenner, Cosell, OJ tweet maybe put you on the map. The Chicago Trib, I think, did a profile on you. But all that aside, your arrival in the New Yorker, we can put up the headline that dropped yesterday here. A great piece out. You could tell us some more about it, Ricky, but congratulations, man. Cool moment for you. Cool moment for the show, for OutKick, for Super 70s. Tell us some more.
Yeah, met the guy, the writer Nick, met him down at the Super Bowl, and he interviewed me down there, and then we basically connected in New York, in Manhattan, when I was in town to do Gutfeld back in April, and we went to Langan's, our favorite Irish bar in New York. There, shout out to, was it Terry?
Terry,
is that
yes?
Terry? Shout out to Terry there and the fine folks at Langan's. But Yeah, we sat down, had an interview. He came and watched the taping of Gutfeld. He references it in the article. So it was it was a lot of fun, and to look at that cartoon and to just see that my dumb ass got immortalized. Even if I do look like Sasquatch, it's still pretty fucking cool. So that's one that I'll probably end up framing and sticking in my office somewhere just to remind myself that, this happened. But yeah, it was pretty fucking cool, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Not an easy egg to crack. Not an easy one to crack.
Yeah.
No, that is a prestigious placement, certainly in a magazine that frankly doesn't always feature guys who tweet. Guys who do streaming shows about funny shit, stupid shit, nostalgia. So I think it speaks to the hits that you have, man. And I would say to the audience at home, there is not a guest we have who does not, in the commercial break before or after, effusively praise Ricky and his content on Super 70s, and frankly the impact that it makes on him, a brother-in-law, a text group. Oh my God, we've had this text chain going for 14 years. We share your tweets. So it hits home, man. It you obviously resonate in a lot of different ways, and I think this is a great validation for you and what you've done. So props, man.
I'm not a quote unquote serious person. So I wouldn't have expected to be featured in the New Yorker. I mean, there's just a lot of things that have happened that I would never have expected out of this, but it is an honor and I do appreciate it. If you like what you saw on today's show, head over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We're going to have great stuff coming to you every 2 weeks via email. It's absolutely free and you can stay on top of everything that we're doing on the program.